good evening and welcome to Business Live. My name is Eton Amsem. In our Friday edition, government fails to raise 500 million Ghana cedis, a desired from the issue of a 3-year domestic bond. As economist says, this is a sign of low confidence in the market. GCB Bank's earnings for 2015 dips, but the bank says it would continue to pursue a transformational agenda to enable it effectively deal with the current challenges. Printers and Paper Converters Association welcomed directive by PURC for the withdrawal of the bail-in software being utilized by the ECG. Details of these stories and more, plus international stories, coming up shortly. Please stay. To our very first story, GCB Bank says it would continue to pursue a transformational agenda to enable it effectively deal with the current challenges in the financial sector. This follows a drop in its earnings by 9% in 2015. Darryl Kwao sat through the bank's annual general meeting where the figures were announced and has filed this report.
GCB Bank made a profit of 361 million Ghana cedis, down by about 35 million from 2014. Just as other banks in the country, GCB Bank has had to grapple with the challenging financial year in 2015 against a backdrop of increased non-performing loans and a difficult macroeconomic environment. Acting Managing Director Samuel Sapon thinks the bank managed the challenges fairly compared to its competitors.
In terms of 2015, headline revenue basically increased by 18% to 863 million. So we did pretty well. This was driven by a 22% increase in interest income. One challenging area that we had was our trading income, treasury income, which was low, as well as the impairment that had occurred on one major customer. In terms of operating expenses, basically it was flat or slightly 1% below the last year's numbers. So overall, I think our performance was really impacted negatively by the impairment charge on this particular customer. Given that, I mean, we were PAT about 9% below 2014 expectations. So those are the high-level numbers. Really, fundamental business is strong. As I said, we would have been higher than the 2014 figures in terms of PAT if it hadn't been for this impairment charge that we had to raise on this particular customer.
Despite the dip in earnings, the bank approved a cash dividend payment of 33 pesos per share for its shareholders. That represents a total payout of 87 million cedis for the 2015 financial year. This means the bank is paying 3% more than what it did in 2014. Mrs. Sapon shared with Joy Business the strategies adopted to weather the current storm in the financial industry.
Basically, we've been putting in place strategies to increase our income. For example, our corporate banking area, we've restructured it. We have our relationship managers going out, being aggressive, going out to customers to get their business. We are also providing the products and services that our customers want. For example, recently we launched the GCB Light Pay product, which basically allows customers to be able to accept card payments using Visa, MasterCard, and the GCB Ready Cash card. So basically what we've done is cherry picking the right areas and being more aggressive than we've been in the past in terms of making sure we go out and win the customer's business.
Darryl Kwao for Joy Business.
Ghanaian exporters are reportedly losing millions of dollars in the form of duties paid to the government of the United States of America. This is as a result of their failure to take advantage of the African Growth and Opportunities Act (AGWA) project. The program, introduced by the U.S. in 2000, is aimed at granting easy access to U.S. markets for products of qualified sub-Saharan Africa countries like Ghana. But most Ghanaian exporters have, in spite of the duty-free access granted under the program, been paying duties on goods that ordinarily should be exempted. Director of the West African Trade and Investment Hub, Jeffrey Povri, tells Joy Business stepping up education could help reverse this.
Well, AGOA greatly favors the apparel industry. So Ghana started to take advantage of that since 2000, and for one reason and another, the efforts didn't really bear as much fruit as they would like. So I think it's worthwhile for Ghana to make a big effort now, especially in apparel. There's one very successful company here in Ghana, in Accra, and they are producing at world-class standards. They compete very well against all the other countries who send apparel to the United States. And there should be more companies like that in West Africa. We'd like to see West Africa become a very important apparel manufacturing center for exports to the United States.
Which sector has done very well? Is it textiles or the other?
Well, the petroleum sector always does quite well. You know, Americans need to buy a lot of petroleum products, and so those sectors aren't really, they don't really require the assistance of a project such as the Trade Hub. So we like to favor the value chains that are not petroleum, processed foods, handicrafts, fresh fruits, apparel, and those kinds of other value-added value chains that can make a big contribution in terms of development and employment here in the country.
Meanwhile, Executive Secretary of the organizers, American Chamber of Commerce Ghana, Simon Maggi, told Joy Business empowering exporters to take advantage of the opportunities presented by the program would enormously inure to the benefits of the economy.
One, we want to create publicity around this program, which is the African Growth and Opportunity Act. Two, we want to drive investment behind it, because what we've realized is that without investment, Ghana will not be able to take advantage of this program. And then three, we want to be able to create demand for the companies in the U.S. Because if there is demand, then people can produce and export to the U.S. And they can export over 6,000 products to the U.S. under this AGWA program. It's duty-free and quota-free. But our goal here is to advance the advocacy in such a way that Ghana will be able to identify at least 5 products which they can build competency around and export to the U.S. so we can create jobs and also earn foreign income for this country.
Labour consultant Austin Game is confident the current crisis at Standard Chartered Bank PLC following a decision to lay off some workers will soon be fully resolved. The group recently announced that as part of efforts to improve its financial position, a global restructuring move will result in about 15,000 workers losing their jobs. But unlike layoffs in other multinational companies where low-level workers get axed, Standard Chartered PLC has so far seen some top-line managers around the world, including Ghana, lose their jobs. Mr. Game is, however, optimistic the bank is better placed to manage the current crisis.
I think they are handling it well. Maybe there might be some mix-up that might have led to it, but every employer has a right to declare to severe working relationship with his people. If along the line people are aggrieved and they want something done about it, maybe the steps will have to be followed that may not have been followed properly, could be a possible cause of the problem. But it's being handled very well by them, and I'm pretty sure in the next few days they should be over it.
Meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Game says instituting clear institutional policies in the management of human capital is key to ensuring corporate harmony. Most businesses, he believes, have over the years been confronted with costly disputes because of the lack of clear guidelines for human resource manager in dealing with personal disputes. In an interview with Joy Business at a forum for chief executive organized by the Institute of Human Resource Management Practitioners, Mr. Game said boosting the expertise of HR managers is critical to avert disputes in the organization. All right, so moving on, President of the Institute, John Wilson, wants top managers to support HR practitioners in the area of skills improvement.
The biggest challenge facing HR is the lack of support from top management in handling some of these issues, and then maybe their own education, and skill development. So we are saying that they should first recruit the right practitioners, give with the right background, and then we also have to support them with education periodically, so that they will be on top of the job. This is what we have discovered.
We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please stay. Government failed to raise the 500 million Ghana cedis it desired from the issue of a 3-year domestic bond. Joy Business gathers it got just about 341 cedis worth of bids from investors. It is, however, not clear for now what might have accounted for the low interest in the bond sale. The Ministry of Finance is hoping to use the funds to roll over maturing debts. Some economists are worried government's inability to raise the amount targeted could put some pressure on its finances, especially in the coming months. Now, meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Game says instituting clear institutional policies in the management of human capital is key to ensuring corporate harmony.
For a government, security is often the safest. So in an era of uncertainty, you would expect that a lot of people would want to hide their wealth maybe in those ones. But probably it's also a signal that maybe confidence in the economy isn't that good. Could look at it from that way in terms of market confidence. And you can actually judge that in terms of how much the market is willing to trade off that money for, in terms of the interest rate, as against how much government is willing to pay. As to whether that is sufficient enough for investors to trade off consumption for a period of 3 years or so, different thing altogether. You understand? And don't forget that when you invest today, is the future uncertainty that you are pricing. So it may not have more to do with maybe what happened yesterday, but the outlook is also important. Okay. And if for instance, if the market thinks that given the challenges the economy is going through, interest rates are likely to rise further, then they wouldn't want to trade off consumption for long and lock in a rate at, let's say, 25%. If they believe that it could go to 26 or 27. For instance, there are indications that inflation may head up a bit, okay, as we move towards the election. Okay, don't forget that world oil price has gone up slightly, okay, and we don't have a built-in stabilizer to cushion investors. So the pass-through could be there. Underlying inflationary pressures could also inform their decision.
Professor Godfrey Bokpeng is the head of finance at the University of Ghana Business School, reacting to government's domestic bond that was undersubscribed yesterday. We take a quick break. We'll be back with our special feature for Friday, people to look out for. So I'm sure you know that the whole week we have been looking at PURC's directive to ECG for them to withdraw the billing system that was bloating people's ECG bills. And then we also have responses from ECG. We've been keeping an eye on the issue the whole of this week. Today, we went to the Printers Association of Ghana to get what they make of PURC's directive for ECG to withdraw the billing system.
The PURC is the ultimate overseer for the utility services. Printers and, for that matter, those of us in industry think that there should be fairness in what we pay for the electricity or energy we use. Of course, a number of people have had cause to complain that they are paying quite huge bills. So if PURC thinks that the billing system has some deficiencies because of the software that they've been using, I think it's a welcome news that we pay exactly what is due us to pay. It's good news for us. If it was just a mistake and that's going to be rectified, it's a welcome news. One particular printer told me that, was it last week or a week and a half ago, there were demands made on him to pay huge sums, over 100,000 Ghana cedis. And he was pleading for a few more days because the difference between what he had been paying and what had been slammed on him was huge. And the people wouldn't see reason to give him time to explain or nor give any excuses. And they were going to shut down the power. And that was not a good thing for him. As far as he was concerned, it was quite crude and rude on their part to have done that. So if such a person or such an individual or organization realizes that indeed he's having reservations and having cause to think that the bill he was made to pay wouldn't really be what he ought to pay, then it would be good news for us. I think that softwares are really written, or when you buy software, you need to give it direction as to how it should work. What my understanding would be that perhaps we give them wrong parameters to work, and that's the reason why people are being made to pay more than what they should pay. We are just waiting for what the result of PURC's directive is going to be, because I'm sure they're going to get down to the bottom of all this. But between now and when we get the news or get to know exactly what has happened, I think it's good news that the right thing is going to be done.
So we'll give the PURC a green card for doing well, coming to the aid of consumers and telling ECG to withdraw the billing system. And we also give ECG, well, we are looking up to you to do something. Respond positively so we can save businesses from collapsing. And that's how we wrap up for our today's special feature, People to Watch Out For. Time to look at how your stocks are faring, and Bertha's joined me on the phone lines. Hello, Bertha.
Hi, yes, hello.
All right, now market closed today, I guess. So tell us how the market is looking, how stocks are shaping up.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me say, this week has been a bit impressive when you look at the volumes of shares that are trading. Though we haven't had much bulk trades on the market, so we can say that activity has been very active.
Right.
And it's also, yeah, we can also say some equities have recorded some positive gains on the market. For instance, ECI yesterday was part of the gainers is added Tesla, and definitely we're going to see the major indices move positively this week if we continue to see gains. And we also saw FML continuing to gain on the market. This week it has added 5% to its week open price. It's to be 30% per share, and it's currently, as of the close of yesterday's market, it was trading at 7.35 pesos. So you can say there's a good signal out there for FML, and we're expecting FML to make gains probably before the close of today, and then we'll see it make gains again.
I'm happy about FML. Which other stocks should we look out for this week?
Okay, so this week we are expecting some more equities to gain on the market. We expect ECI to continue to gain.
Right.
We also expect some low-price equities such as SIC. And then, but on the other side, we expect Standard Chartered Bank to continue to lose on the market.
What's happening to gold?
Gold is over trading actively. You know, yesterday's trade, gold was part of the gainers. It added a Tesla to its previous share price. And then total loss yesterday on the market.
Right.
And we can say that looking at the price difference for total and gold, gold is on a positive trend, and we expect more gains in gold going forward to next week.
Let's go to the commodity markets. I'm excited about crude oil. It's hit $50 a barrel for the first time this year.
Well, it's good. It's a good because when commodity prices are actually appreciating, it's very good for countries that are into exporting of commodity prices. And then we stand to benefit is the fact that though we don't export much, but we export some out of Ghana. And then you can also talk about the fact that commodity prices, especially crude oil, has some influence with the performance of some equities, not only on the Ghana Stock Exchange, but other markets as well. So when commodity prices are stable, when they are appreciating, then it stands to benefit these equities that have the underlying assets in crude oil.
Tell us about gold and cocoa.
Well, the price has been a bit stable, let me put it that way, on when it comes to gold and cocoa as well. Let's see what next week holds for us. Probably we'll see some volatility again, because usually it's not stable. Sometimes it goes up, and then the next time we see it coming down.
All right, so the currencies, how is the CD looking?
The CD, let me say, has done very well this week as well. So last week it lost marginally to the dollar. We're expecting it to be still stable in the currency market.
Right.
So let's say the CD is doing very well now. It's performing well against the dollar, and we're expecting the stability to continue. Though we could expect some dissipations, as on daily basis, we see some marginal drops, and then we see some marginal gains as well. But on the average, let's say the CD is doing very well and has been very stable this time around on the currency market.
All right, let's continue to be optimistic, Beth, and that's how we end the stock market analysis. We'll be right back. Please stay. Time to go to the international front and look at some of the business news stories.
8 automakers said on Friday they are recalling more than 12 million US vehicles for defective Takata airbag inflators, widening the largest ever auto safety effort to more passenger side devices. Honda Motor Company is recalling 4.5 million US vehicles, while Fiat Chrysler Automobiles MV is recalling 4.3 million according to the documents. The new recall is focused on passenger side airbag inflators, while prior recalls were for all frontal inflators. A declaration at the G7 meeting in Japan says a vote by the UK to leave the European Union would pose a serious threat to global growth. In its final statement, the group warned that the UK exit from the EU would reverse the trend of increased global trade, investments and jobs. The meeting brings together the world's leading 7 industrialized nations. The final communique set global growth as a priority for dealing with threats to the world's economy and security. Google won a jury verdict that kills Oracle Corp's claim to a $9 billion slice of the search giant's Android phone business, and may give comfort to programmers who write applications that run across different platforms without a license. Oracle contended that Google needed a license to use its Java programming language to develop Android, the operating system in 80% of the world's mobile devices. Jurors in San Francisco federal court on Thursday rejected that argument and concluded Google made fair use of the code under copyright law.
And that's how we wrap up with today's edition of Business Live. My name is Eton. I'm saying many thanks for your time. We are back again next week, Monday. Get interactive with us on Facebook, Joy Business, on Twitter at JoyBusinessGH, and also visit myjoyonline.com/business for more business stories. Many thanks for your time.
us live.